So tocopherol acetate, also known as vitamin E acetate, is able to interact with the pulmonary surfactant. Pulmonary surfactant is a mixture of lipids and proteins which is inside alveoli in lungs and enables normal action and normal breathing. So tocopherol, as we showed, is able to incorporate into the surfactant, interact with the lipids and change mechanical properties of the pulmonary surfactant. On the other hand, also tocopherol and other components of lipids can decompose, and the products of this decomposition potentially also can influence the surfactant. The primary motivation for this study was the lung disease called EVALI, which started in the United States in year 2019, and more than 2,500 people had EVALI, and there were 16 fatalities. It occurred after some time that the main reason for that was the tocopherol, which was added to some of THC vaping products as an additive and made the lung problems. So in our research we combined two approaches, first experimental and then molecular simulations. So experimental work was done in Prague, in the Czech Republic, in which we built a model of the human pulmonary surfactant using surfactant from the porcine lungs and also some synthetic lipid mixtures which we use as a model. And then we constructed a system for simulating the vaping with the number of vapes and the time characteristic which were mimicking what the normal user is doing. And then we were measuring the changes of the surface tension, so the lateral packing of the surfactant during the vaping with liquids containing different amounts of the basic components and the tocopherol. Simulations, molecular simulations done by our collaborators in Finland were studying the same process at the molecular level. So simulations showed how individual tocopherol molecules incorporate into the lipid layer of the surfactant and how they are able to accumulate and change properties at the molecular level. So by combining these two approaches, like microscopic scale and molecular scale, we gain a full picture of the processes occurring during vaping. So we think the problem survives because tocopherol was prohibited after this outbreak of EVALI. However, still colorants and flavorings are added to the liquids. For instance, I have, for example, the liquid with propylene glycol and glycerol, which is transparent, as you can see, while the typical e-liquid used by the user is having some colorants like this one. So we think that it's important to study the influence of these additives, in particular that some of them have molecular structure which is similar to tocopherol, and influence of them on the surfactant is not fully known. Furthermore, it's also important that our study showed that the two basic components of the liquids, propylene glycol and glycerol, are also able to change the surfactant. It was somewhat surprising for us, and we think this requires a further study and being aware that these compounds can influence the function of lungs. So I think that the user of e-cigarettes should be aware of all the gains and risks related to that. For instance, in UK, the vaping is considered officially as a less harmful alternative for the traditional smoking. On the other hand, we should be aware that the presence of these additives in the liquids can be harmful, and this is not well studied yet. So it shows to some need for regulation or in particular monitoring of the influence of these components on the function of lungs and the health of the lungs in the regular users of the vaping products.